Us this morning, Dr. Pernell. She's a public health physician and regent-at-large for the American College of Preventative Medicine. Good to have you with us as always. So this is a diabetes drug, but they want it to be used for weight loss for people who don't have diabetes. What's your caution here?
Well, I think first we should understand that this is encouraging news. It's encouraging news because those who experience or have overweight and obesity have had limited treatment options. Then we saw the availability and explosion, if you will, of products like Wegovy and Ozempic. What we know from this drug is that if you are a person who is struggling with overweight and obesity and you do or do not have diabetes, you have another tool that could help you return your body to normal weight, thereby decreasing the likelihood of high blood pressure, cardiovascular or heart ailments, even at risk for certain cancers. So it is good news, but we should take it with an appropriate amount of caution.
And how does this drug compare to things like Ozempic that we heard so much about?
Now, this drug is different from both Ozempic and Wegovy because it's actually mimicking or targeting two hormones in the gut. And because it's able to mimic or target both of those hormones in the gut, you have an increased effectiveness. You see a greater amount of weight that a person could lose. In the trial that was recently released, we saw people lose as much as 50 pounds across that 17-month period. So it would be a more aggressive tool in the toolkit to help people who are experiencing overweight and obesity.
What do you think? Is it likely the FDA approves use?
You never can guarantee with the FDA, so I just want to caveat that. But I think the FDA should and will approve use. Look, this is long overdue. For far too long, people who have been struggling with overweight and obesity have just been told, oh, modify your behaviors, eat less, exercise more. When we know that overweight and obesity is a complex health condition due to genetic, due to environmental, and due to behavioral issues. So it's not just a one-size-fits-all approach.
All right. The drug is tirzepatide from Eli Lilly. We'll be watching that. I want to talk to you, doctor, about another study that took a look at sleep and sleep medication and how it impacts the brain of people living with Alzheimer's. Researchers at WashU in St. Louis gave people a sleeping pill before they went to bed. They found those who took the pill had a reduction in the levels of Alzheimer's proteins in their spinal fluid. This seems like really positive news. What's the takeaway here?
The takeaway is this is more data. If people will understand science and information as data that allows us to modulate or modify what we prescribe, what we recommend, that's how we can begin to, let's say, tack away at this very complex issue, which is Alzheimer's. We don't know if it's that poor sleep leads to Alzheimer's or that people who have Alzheimer's have sleep disturbances. What is encouraging about this particular study, although very small, is that this particular drug, something that can be readily available, though you should use with caution, can, let's say, decrease those proteins that accumulate in patients who have Alzheimer's. So again, this is useful data that puts us further along because we have so many limited tools to actually prevent or actually treat Alzheimer's.
Information powerful. All right, thank you. Well, a new COVID variant spreading across the U.S. This is not good news. It's called Arcturus. Doctors warn that it can cause red eyes, also higher fevers in some children. The CDC estimating nearly 10% of current COVID cases in the U.S. are this particular strain. So how much more contagious is this strain?
Well, what we are seeing, Marni, is that the virus will continue to mutate so that it can gain an advantage over the human host or the human body. We know that these strains, which are subvariants of the XBB variant that has been circulating, have more of an infectious nature or quality, but they are not more severe, meaning we don't see more severe outcomes. We're seeing different symptoms. We're seeing the conjunctivitis or the pink eye, as you have described. The most important thing for people to realize is that if you have not received an updated bivalent COVID booster, you should, because that's what's going to give you the best protection against the currently circulating strains, of which this new strain is one.
So does that mean the first shot that many of us received won't protect against the new strain?
Yes, that's what it means. Unless you got that bivalent booster when most Americans got it back in the fall, and now with the FDA and the CDC recommending that those who are 65 and above and or have weakened immune systems go ahead and get another bivalent booster, you won't have that level of protection.
Is this the future? I mean, as these viruses mutate, I mean, we'll always be dealing with new strains that emerge.
Yes, we will always be dealing with new strains that emerge, and especially because we don't have across the world. Remember, viruses do not respect borders. Across the world, we don't have a critical mass of people who have been vaccinated, and that gives the virus the opportunity to continue to change or mutate and to insert errors so that it can be either more infectious or more severe. So the best thing that we can do is to continue to encourage and to recommend that people do get boosted with this new bivalent booster, and then we're still learning what is that regular frequency or regular interval that people will need to be protected with this particular vaccine.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.